Hello and welcome to Russo Plays 2. This is 2K Nick, and I am here with Vince Russo, the man himself, and we are recording episode 3. We are going to be handling some contracts and looking forward to dealing with what the game throws at us before our next show. Last show we did, just to sort of catch everyone up, ended up getting a 79, and it increased our popularity. So we're moving in the right direction here.
Up, Nick. Up.
As always. And if you look, we started at 10,000. It also made us money.
Woo!
So we're making money. We're doing everything we need to do. Let us, one thing with TEW is it will warn you once if you have people with contracts coming up.
Right.
And then it's a little bit of a learning curve, because if you miss that warning, it's not going to tell you again. However, if you do go to your user diary, which is a little weird name, but it'll tell you what contracts you have coming up and when. Now, these contracts coming up here, we have Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit, Perry Saturn, and Shane Douglas. And I'm going to let Vince take it away on how he wants to handle these.
Okay, but now as of today, Nick, we still have 21 more days till negotiate, correct?
27, but it is, I know it's a little small, so 27 days to negotiate. So we do have almost a full month left to negotiate.
If we want to negotiate the right way, we want to kind of let this thing go down to the wire. So I'm not ready to make any decisions on those contracts yet.
All right. So the other thing that we do have going on that maybe you want to take a look at is we do have a couple people who have morale problems. Morale's the game's way of telling you who's making a stink backstage. We have Rhonda Singh and Ric Flair. Do you want to address either one of these? Or
Now,
do you want to let them be?
if we let Rhonda Singh go, does that cost us money?
It will, yes. So I will actually go to her page on the roster, because that'll show you exactly how much money it's going to cost. What you would have to do is you'd have to buy out the rest of her contract. So because she has a year, 7 months, and 3 weeks left, you would have to pay $35,320. As a reminder, we just made $195,000 on one show. So
So basically then, Nick, if I don't use her, I'm going to be paying that amount every show anyway, correct?
Correct, over the next year and 7 months.
You know, bro, we can't have anybody in the back with bad attitudes, man.
All right, and she is gone. Just like that easy.
Yes.
The other one might be a little bit more difficult.
No, we want Flair to be unhappy.
Okay. So,
yeah, we thrive on that.
All right. So he is, as you can see, angry right now.
Yeah, nice.
Good.
Hey, if Ric Flair's angry, I'm doing my job.
All right. So our next show is in 6 days. So what I am going to do now is I'm going to do a quick cut, and we will come back when we are ready to book the next show. And we are back. We actually had a few emails that we wanted to take care of. They popped up while we were getting to the next show. So just to start off with, we did have a ratings warning from TNT. And just to sort of explain the game aspect before Vince goes into how he would have handled that had it actually come into his inbox or into his office at the time. The game sort of rates the size of the company that you are running versus the size of the television network that you are on. And there is a discrepancy between the two, as WCW at this point in time was a little bit smaller than what the game expects to be running on TNT. Now, I know Vince, should this have happened, you would have handled it a certain way, and how would that have been?
Yeah, well, basically, Nick, based on our first show last week, obviously our rating was up. Obviously, we made a little bit of money. When I accepted the job with TNT and TBS, I told them it was going to take at least 6 months to a year to get the show back where it should be. So obviously, after the first week, there's a little bit of improvement.
All right. We had just a quick email from a Scott Steiner, who just wanted to let you know that he's feeling the effects of a grueling recent schedule and has asked that you take that into account when booking him so he can have time to recover properly. Basically saying.
I very much will do so. Hey, listen, if Scott Steiner is hurting, I appreciate him telling me. If we need to protect Scott Steiner in the ring over the next month or so, no problem. I hear him loud and clear.
And that is what the game's telling you. Steiner he's either hurting or he is working himself hard enough where he's about to get hurt. He's at that breaking point almost, if you think of it that way. And we had 4 emails from Developmental Talent. We got a Tylene Buck, who stated, I believe I'm ready to be brought onto the main roster, as I don't feel I'm gaining any benefit from remaining in NWA Wildside.
Well, I'm glad Tylene believes she's ready to be brought on the main roster, but I don't even know who she is, so obviously she's not ready to me. If she doesn't feel like she's being benefited by remaining in NWO, there's the door. Feel free to leave.
All right. And we got the exact same message from April Hunter.
And I have the exact same answer.
Same message from Pamela Paulshock.
And I have the exact same answer.
And finally, the exact same email from Big T.
And I have the exact same answer.
So I am going to go in and just show. Development is something where it is another company run by the game. You do not have control over the booking of your development company. But what you do is you send a trainer down, and these people will gain skill over time as the game progresses. Almost you're waiting in the wings superstars. But these people didn't want to be waiting in the wings anymore. They wanted to be brought in. So we're going to give them their wish. They're no longer waiting in the wings. They are off to fly on their own. So we got rid of Big T. And just looking quick, trying to April Hunter. And the last one was Tylene, who will also be gone. So those problems are all gone now. There was a little bit of a monetary hit for those, but they're so small you will make it back next show. So it's not even something,
nice,
in my opinion, that you would need to be concerned about. And we could clear our email. We did get a rating. It was a 5.88 on TNT. Now, one thing you do have to understand, especially when you're playing the game for the first time, this rating does not translate to the Nielsen rating. It is the game's own internal rating. So you would want to check that based on a benchmarker, for example, what Raw got. So if we got a 5.88, let's see what Raw got that week. And you can do that by going to TV shows. Up here, if you click on the television, it'll bring you to your TV hub. Go to TV shows. And then find Monday Night Raw. Which on USA, which was their main, got an 11.87. So we're running at about half of what Raw is doing at this current time.
Okay.
But the name of the game is catching up and improving every week.
Yep.
So
yep.
What we're going to do is we're going to continue moving along to the show. If anything comes up, we'll come back. But right now, we'll see you at booking the show. And we are back and ready to book. So essentially what I'm looking to do here is I'm going to be putting the angles and the matches in. And while I'm doing that, Vince, if you could just explain where you're coming from, what you want to do with that angle, that would be awesome. So I know you wanted to start with a earlier in the day shot.
Yep, there's a shot. We're going to establish the show. We're going to open it up with a shot earlier in the day. And basically what I did was I publicly posted everybody's current salary in the locker room for all the wrestlers to see.
All right. I'm going to make this a minute because I can't imagine it going any longer. And it's just you posting the Vince Russo post salaries. Salaries. I'm going to just say it right now. Excuse my spelling, Internet. I'm not the best. And then I know you wanted to jump right into an in-ring.
Yep.
So I will jump right into that. Nope. There we go. And this is involving 3 people.
Yep. It's an in-ring where I'm going to explain why I posted the salaries. I think it's a good incentive that everybody knows what everybody else makes. It'll make everybody work that much harder. If they don't like where they are on the salary chart, then they need to do something about it.
All right. And I'm also including in this you calling out Ric Flair.
Yeah, I'm calling out Ric Flair because remember, he attacked me in the back last week. So I'm calling him out. I'm armed with a baseball bat. I'm not going to fire Ric Flair, but I make it clear to him that if he touches me, I'm going to crack his skull open with the bat.
All right.
And then I basically cut the promo on Flair explaining to him that the heat he has with me is because everything I'm saying is the truth. And he's been a terrible husband. And he's been a terrible father. And he knows it. And his own son is here to back me up. And that would bring David Flair out.
And then Flair, from what I see, he's going to cut.
Yep, David's going to cut a promo on his dad of never being there when he grew up. Rick is going to try to do everything he can to apologize. And David is going to walk off not accepting the apology.
I have that set for 10 minutes total. That sound good?
That sounds good to me.
All right. So let's go right on back to the back there.
Yeah, we're gonna go to a live shot here now of Nash and Hall discussing their salaries now that they both know what each other makes, and both of them trying to justify it to the other.
And be honest, when I read this, that was the promo that I wish I could see in real life, because I know those two would knock it out of the park with something like that.
No doubt, no doubt.
Do you want that a minute, 2 minutes? How long you thinking?
I'd say no. We need a little time with that. I'd say 2 minutes.
All right, and I could almost guarantee Nash isn't going to want to be scripted. Yep. So this is going to have to be an unscripted promo.
That's fine with me.
Yep. All right, and then to just transition right into the next segment, it is the Outsiders again, and I know they are speaking with you here.
Yeah, basically they're not happy about me posting everybody's salary up, and they kind of give me a warning that I have no idea of what I'm getting myself into. And I basically tell them, well, maybe I need the both of you to give me an idea of what I'm getting myself into, and I offer them bonuses if they police the locker room for me and smarten me up as to who are my friends and who are my enemies, and I remind them that they're not the two most liked guys in the locker room as well.
All right, and one thing that I am doing here is something that we did not really get to do in our last run, using the angle creator. So, because there really wasn't anything in the actual game that sort of matched up with this, I'm just making it here in the angle creator. These are 3 people on screen. I'm going to rate the Outsiders on entertainment, and I'm going to rate yourself on microphone skills. And I'm just going to give it just a quick name. Russo employs them. No. We'll just name it that, and we could expand on it later. And it will be removed from the database. So this is basically a quick one-time thing that we're using it. And then it automatically brings you to that angle so you can select it. Hall, Nash, Russo. And we know that they're not going to want to be scripted, so we might as well take that out now. Russo brings in Outsiders as locker room police. Now, about how long did you want that to be?
I'd say 3 for this.
Sounds right to me. All right. And then moving on to the next thing, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we were going right into the ring, or am I?
There's an on-camera here. There's an on-camera here with the announcers. We want to update the condition of Bret Hart.
Ah, yes.
Remember, he collapsed at the end of last week's show. Follow-up, very, very important.
Okay. Now, what I'm doing here is I am just making it essentially a video package here. The game's going to view that the same way of what you're talking about. It's Bret Hart off screen, and the angle is going to be rated on his overness. So, about how long would you have that?
Well, between the announces and I'd say let's go a minute and a half.
I'm going to up it to 2 just to help you out there.
Okay, and we basically find out that prior to last week's match, Bret had suffered a concussion at the hands of Goldberg that he didn't know about. And now at this point, Bret's going to be week to week. He's going to be tested every week, and he's not going to come back until he clears all tests and he's 100% healthy, just like the NFL rules.
All right. So one thing I am doing here, just from my knowledge of what is going to happen, I'm making a new match. I'm calling it a TV First Blood match. So it's a First Blood match that would be acceptable on television. So while a pay-per-view First Blood match would be your buckets and buckets and buckets, this would be something a little bit more tame that can be shown on primetime.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't even set that match yet, though. Should I set it while you're doing this?
Go ahead. I was just making it so that we can do it.
Yeah, this is going to be what he's referring to is after the on camera where they give us an update on Bret. We're going to go to the first ever woman's First Blood match between Daphne and Medusa. So this obviously is going to be highly controversial. But it does fit within the character of Daphne.
Okay.
But I'm sure Medusa, being the world class wrestler and athlete she is not going to like this one bit.
Correct. And just looking at the notes here, I do believe you wanted to have Daphne go over.
Yes, Daphne will go over. Yes.
All right. Are we looking at about 5 minutes for this match?
With entrances, let's say 7.
Okay.
I usually, Nick, I usually figure the entrances at being a minute apiece.
Yeah, and that's what the game does as well. So it does add 2 minutes for the entrances.
Oh, wait a minute. So if I say 7, what does that mean?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 5 minutes of in-ring, like actual bell-to-bell, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it adds 2 minutes for entrances. So it will be a 7-minute match. But the slider here is bell to bell.
Okay, good.
So it is basically essentially the way you
add another minute to that match then. Give them 6 minutes and then the entrances.
Sure thing. So Medusa's very unhappy at the booking of this match. I'm assuming you want to power through.
Yep.
All right. And this is an angle that's used all the time in wrestling. So it's a favorite. This is the worker arrives angle, and it's even in the package because that's how often it's used.
And the live shot is after this match, Goldberg arrives to the arena.
That's just a minute, you're thinking?
Not even. It's 30 seconds.
All right. So Goldberg arrives, and then kind of playing off the fact that Medusa was upset, we go backstage. Right into that Medusa and Goldberg Medusa and Russo segment that turns into a Russo and Goldberg segment.
Yep.
I'm actually going to do these separately, just because I feel as if I don't want to, for gaming purposes, I don't want to pull Goldberg down based on Medusa's entertainment skills. So it'll be a quick Medusa and Vince segment. And then you want to go ahead and explain?
Yeah, basically, I'm in my office, minding my own business. Medusa comes in, not happy, bleeding. And basically, she asked me how I could put her in that kind of a match based on my friendship with her, because there is a personal friendship with Medusa and myself that came from WWE. And I say it's real easy. TNT wants ratings, and that's what we're going to give them. And then I also explained to Medusa that there are no friends in wrestling. And that's when Goldberg burst in. and Goldberg makes it clear to me that he's not cleared to wrestle tonight. And I make it clear to him that I know that and I understand that, but I'm not going to pay him to sit at home. And I call Goldberg a prima donna.
So between those two, I have about a 5 minute
No,
angle.
no, that's too long.
Okay.
I'd say 3.
All right. Let me just adjust real quick then. And we are
Yeah, a
good.
lot of times too with this, Nick, I try to kind of give you my kind of reality rules as I go along.
Yep.
If it's just verbiage, you really don't want to go over 3 minutes with a pre-tape because you're going to lose them. It's going to be too long. Now, if it's a fight in the back or action or something like this, you're okay. But if it's just talking, 3 minutes is really, really pushing it.
And I think that just as a fan, someone who's never been behind the curtain, I can agree with that 100% because once you get even main eventers, people who you want to see, if my favorite wrestler's out there and he's talking for 10 minutes, I don't care. Just
yeah. You want to, Nick. The rule is, say what you got to say and get out. I mean, it's that simple.
And speaking of which, we're going right into a Eddie Guerrero promo.
Yeah, Eddie. We have a little Eddie promo where he apologizes for his actions against his friend Chris Benoit last week, and Eddie admits to allowing the situation to get out of hand, and that's not going to happen in the rematch tonight.
And that sounds like 2 to 3 minutes to me.
No, bro. That's probably a minute.
All right. So let me just fix something real quick. And I know you have the next match, so you can go ahead while I'm fixing this. Go ahead and
The next match is going to be the second match between Eddie and Benoit, and Eddie is going to screw Chris again. However, this time Chris is going to get heat back on Eddie after the bell, and the two have to be separated. So now this is the second time Eddie screwed his so-called friend. Now Chris doesn't like it, and now they literally have to be pulled apart.
yes, and a big thing with that is it's advancing the storyline in the game terms, but even in just the common sense terms, it just sort of everything seems to be playing into each other with this storyline.
Oh yeah, you want the whole idea of the storyline is everybody's it's the gloves are off, bro, and everybody's competing against everybody else. Everybody knows what everyone else is making. I'm not even playing favorites. I'm in this job because the pressure is on me. You already saw by the email to get ratings. And, let me steal a line from my old friend Eric Bischoff, controversy creates cash. So that's exactly what I'm trying to create here.
So about how long are you looking for this match to
Well,
be?
people are going to want to see these two wrestle. So let's say, 2 minutes, for a minute for each entrance again. I don't want to go too long. I'll give them another 8 minutes for the match and another minute for the pull apart. So that's going to be a total of 11 minutes.
Now, the way the game is going to work the pull apart, it is going to work it as an actual angle itself, so not as part of the match. So I am just going to quickly throw that in as a pull apart. And let me just check one thing before I do that. Okay. I'm going to put it as a brawl to the back. It's rate the same. So Eddie and Benoit pulled apart. And then after that, we are going... Yep.
There's going to be a live shot in my office. Shane Douglas, who has a history with Ric Flair, who never liked Ric Flair and made it be known to everybody while he was at ECW, he wants a shot at Ric Flair tonight.
All right, so now one thing that we can do, there are these authority angles, and single wants opportunity against another one is one of those things that we can do. So Shane Douglas coming to Vince Russo and wanting a shot against Ric Flair is something that we can do. I put that for 2 minutes. Is that acceptable?
Yeah, Shane can talk. Yeah, make that 2 minutes.
He doesn't want to be scripted.
That's
So,
okay. You don't have to be.
all right. So we got another promo coming up.
Yeah, Conan now is cutting a promo on Ed Ferrara because Ed Ferrara just broke the news to Conan that he's going to have to wrestle his friend Rey Mysterio tonight. Conan gets hot at Ed, and Ed, explains to Conan he's just the messenger. And at that point, Kevin Nash walks into the shot and basically tells Conan, if you don't like it, why don't you walk instead of crying about it? Conan at that point gets on Kevin about the money he's making, which is more than Conan, and the two of them have to be separated. So as you can see, all over the place, there's controversy all over the place. Everybody's fighting everybody, which is exactly what Russo wants.
All right. And about how long are you looking to make that?
Oh, well, Conan's a great talker. Kevin can definitely hold his own. Boy, I'd say, bro, again, I'd go to max with this one with 3 minutes.
All right. Oh, went too far. 3 minutes. All right. So we're going into the ring next.
Yep, we're going to a match. DDP and his good friend and protege, Chris Kanyon.
All right. So Chris versus DDP.
I'd give him 8 minutes, including entrances, and we're going to get Kanyon over here.
All right. So Kanyon goes over. Do you want it to be an open match, or is this sort of a statement win type thing?
What do you mean?
Do you want it to be back and forth, kind of open?
Yeah, no, good close competitive match, and Kanyon will catch DDP.
Okay. Oh, he is furious at the booking of the DDP. Is furious. Still going to move forward?
That's a shoot too, bro. Yes.
All right. So we then had, I believe you wanted.
Yeah. Now standards and practices is in my office, and they are irate about the first blood match with Medusa and Daphne because I didn't smarten them up to it.
And I thought about this on how I was going to do it, and the way I'm going to do it is just yourself being the only person, and essentially what you're going to have is an extra who's acting as the standards and practice representative. About how long would you want that to be? A minute? 2 minutes?
No, this could be a good argument here. I'd say 2.5.
Done and done. All right. And then we're going right to Scott Hall and Sting.
Yep, Paul is talking to Sting about maybe it's time to step up. Hall is telling Sting maybe it's time to step up instead of acting like a bunch of prima donnas. So he's talking about, maybe the veterans need to start earning their money, and he's telling this to Sting. And Hall tells Sting that he also doesn't like the fact that some guys are making more money than him, and he's obviously talking about Sting. And before that can go anywhere, Sting walks off.
All right. I have that because it sounds like a pretty good argument. I have that at 3 minutes. That sounds
Yep, good. That sounds good. Yep.
See, I'm catching on. The more I'm doing this, I'm catching on. We're going right into the match that we teased earlier.
Yep, Shane Douglas and Flair. Another good competitive match. Shane will go over. We got to protect Flair here because even in 2000, Flair was, you don't want to expose him too much. He was, kind of in his, past his glory years, so you got to be careful. I wouldn't have Flair go more than 5 minutes in the ring, so I'd say I'd really let Shane Douglas celebrate the victory. So I'd say 2 for the entrances, 5 for the match, and 1 for the victory celebration.
Flair is furious. I think this was to be expected, though.
Yep.
Okay. So we have a Douglas celebration coming up. Now, I did notice one thing before I jumped into that match. And I'm sure this is just something that kind of comes as old hat to you at this point. But that match came at exactly the hour mark. So between hour 1 and hour 2, you started something that you started a big match between Flair and Douglas. So, I mean, for me, when I'm booking, getting things like that is something I try to do and don't necessarily achieve every time. And I don't even know if you meant to do it, and it sort of happened. So,
No, I honestly didn't.
so that's pretty cool to me to see stuff like that happening. Now, you had another one that I think I would love to see. It starts as a Harlem Heat promo, and it turns into something.
Well, I think you missed something though. First, there's a little live shot now. Keep in mind, Russo's got cameras in his office. He sees everything that's going on. So now there's a live shot of Ed Ferrara, who has been handpicked as the stooge for kind of, double crossing me when they wanted to get rid of me. He informed Sting that he will be facing Scott Hall later tonight.
All right. All right. Let me just capitalize the yes there. And then you want to, and yes, I did scroll right past that into the next shot, but then we have the Harlem Heat.
Yeah, basically Harlem Heat is cutting a promo in the back, and I bust the promo basically saying that it is a BS fake wrestling promo, and those days are over. And I get Harlem Heat fired up in the process by telling them that Chronic was hired for more money than what they're making, because in my mind, Chronic is more believable.
All right. And one thing I did want to mention, we do have that injury to a Chronic member. So, unfortunately, in this spot, Chronic will not be able to be used.
Well, let's make it a singles match then.
All right. So
whoever's healthy against Booker T.
Okay, so I'm going to have the angle be sort of the same, and then just change the match. So we have Booker.
And tell me who is hurt and how long he's out.
I'll get to that in 1 second. I know he's under a different name right now. So, do you want that to be for 2 minutes, the Harlem Heat promo?
The promo?
Yeah.
Let's make it 2.5.
All right. Oops. Calls out fake promos. All right. I know there's a lot more that happens there, but... All right. So if we go to our medical real quick, we can see that Wrath is the name that he's currently under, is out for 3 months. And Wrath is Brian Clark. So Clark is the one that is currently out.
Okay.
So the other Brian Adams, I believe.
Do we know what he's out with?
A knee injury, if I'm remembering correctly. Knee ligament damage, which
Okay.
I am very sympathetic towards. So we do have Brian Adams, and he is able to wrestle.
Yeah, and we'll have Clark out there. He just won't do. He won't wrestle.
Do you want me to? One thing I can do, and I don't want to spend too long on this, but I can make him Brian Adams' manager.
Yeah, we want to do that because we want to see him. We're not gonna keep him off screen for 3 months.
All right, let me do it, and that has been done. And let's book that match real quick. You wanted it to be Booker T versus Brian Adams.
Yes.
And about how long did you want this to go?
6, 8 with entrances.
All right. So, and Booker T is still the one going over?
Yeah, Booker T is going to go over.
All right.
Booker T is going to go over, but Chronic or Adams, say Chronic because you know, Clark will be able to do limited stuff. They will get their heat back after the match.
So, do we want that on both members of Harlem Heat or on just Booker T?
Both members.
Let me just make it so that I can select him. When someone's injured, the only way that you can have them do things is to assign them as a personality. Because they
Okay.
can't wrestle, obviously.
Right.
They're not allowed to. And one thing I want to make sure is that he is available and he's not sitting at home. Because
Yeah.
sometimes the game will make it so that he is sitting at home. Oh, he is sitting at home, so he's not even attending the shows for 3 months.
We can't get him there.
No, we cannot. With the knee
Oh,
injury,
that's crazy,
it
man.
is considered too severe an injury to attend the shows. That is, unfortunately, one of the things that's going to happen where the game needs to be a game.
All
or
right, then
something.
let's just keep it a one-on-one and let Adams get his heat on Booker after the match.
All right. So we have that one-on-one post-match attack. And about, you wanted that just to be a minute, you said, I believe?
The post-match attack?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, jeez. Losing control there. Sorry about that. If you want to move on to, I know that we have a pretty significant angle coming up, so if you want to move on to that.
Yeah, basically remember that we stripped everybody of the titles, or I stripped them coming back because now I was going to do things my way and nobody was going to influence me. So Sid is in my office because he was the former champion at the time and he's not happy about being stripped. And I tell Sid that if he puts the final coffin in Hulk Hogan's casket tonight, that he will get himself right back to the top of the mountain.
And we're looking about how long for that?
Say a minute and a half.
And that sort of sets up the main event, I believe. So
Yeah.
we're going to do another video package here.
Another video package of the friendship between Ray and Conan, and that'll be a minute.
All right. So setting that up really quickly here. And that leads right into the match itself.
Ray and Conan will have their match. 7. Make it a total of 9 minutes with the entrances.
All right. Now, one thing that we really didn't have much of this last week, but when you have these kind of, especially with Ray, high octane guys, something that you can do is have them go all out, which means they're going to be basically going full speed the entire match.
Yeah.
This is bad if you go essentially over 10 minutes because you're going to gas them, you're going to leave them open to injury. Is that something that you want to do here?
Not really, bro, because he's wrestling his friend Conan, so there's going to be a little feeling out process. They probably won't really get going until about like 2 or 3 minutes in.
All right, so it's not like they're not doing a traditional cruiser style match. They're doing more of a story.
No. Yeah, no.
All right, and Ray went over. And then we go right to the back with another Russo office shot.
Yep, and now Hogan's in my office because he knows about the match with Sid, and he's not happy, and he reminds me that he has creative control, and I basically tell Hulk, no problem, bro. You're over in the middle, 1, 2, 3. What's the issue? And Hogan leaves the office. I'd say 2 minutes for that.
And he's storming off, I'm assuming. He's not. Oh, he doesn't want to be scripted. All right, and then we're doing a reveal here.
Yep, I name Ernest the Cat Miller, the commissioner, to represent me.
All right.
So he can basically carry out my orders and have my authority.
All right, and he is simply known as the Cat right now. I can change that if you wish. But
Yeah, that's fine. That's okay.
So we have. I put it at 2 minutes because that's the lowest it can be. If you want me to go back and edit, I can. But
Okay, well, we'll see when we get there.
all right. And then we're jumping into. You'll have to help me here. This match, the bunkhouse brawl that you are setting up here.
Right.
About what would be the best way to describe it, as someone who may have never seen a bunkhouse brawl?
It's like a bro. It's kind of like a monster's ball.
Okay, so we actually have that here.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee you TNT is not going to allow this. Yep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing I did for the First Blood, and while I'm doing that, go ahead and describe kind of what's going on with this.
Yeah, basically it's Terry Funk and Vampiro, which should be a great match. Bunkhouse brawl, anything goes, no DQ, no count out, pinfall or submission, and they're gonna beat each other all over the arena. But the young Vampiro is going to outlast Terry Funk, and we're gonna get Vampiro over.
All right. And what are we looking at for time frame here?
I'd say a total of 10.
So 8 minutes in ring, 2 minutes for our either entrances, or you could consider that the announcers explaining the match however you want it to play out in your head. Now we have the live shot coming up. Yep, with this is basically a quick hitter, correct?
Yeah, the live shot is basically, the shot in the back of Sting and Hall, like on their way towards the gorilla position.
Yeah. So essentially Worker walking backstage. But we need to clone it to make it for 2, which is easy enough. And I'm actually going to leave this in the database because this is something that I know was used very often and is still used sometimes as a way to go to commercial break. So we're just going to keep this in. And it's only 1 to 2 minutes, so this is a very quick sort of thing. But let us put that in, and then we're going right to the... we're going to a Sting promo.
Yeah, Sting goes out first. Before Scott can get announced, he calls me out. I come to the stage, and Sting reminds me that he's been my biggest supporter since I've come to WCW. And I remind Sting that's because he gets paid the most amount of money and does the least amount of work. And that all changes starting tonight, at what time we'll have Scott Hall's entrance. So that little piece of business with Sting's entrance, Scott's entrance, and the promo back and forth, I'd say is about 5 minutes.
All right.
And I'd say the match between Hall and Sting is give that 12 minutes with the entrances, and we're going to get Sting over.
So 7 minutes in ring, if I got that right, because you said 5 for the entrances.
No, I'm sorry. Leave that a total of 5 minutes, and then just do the match for 10.
All right. And we have Hall and Sting. Save it. And Sting's going over. You want this to be an open match, I'm assuming? Back and forth?
Yeah.
And then we are going to Hogan in the back.
Hogan's on the phone with his attorney. This is a 30-second shot because he smells a rat tonight.
All right. And there we go.
From there, we'll go to our match with Hogan and Sid at the end.
Okay.
Sid forces Hogan to tap out in the middle of the ring.
All right. So based on the information you gave me, what I'm going to put in, and I know this is going to change in about 2 seconds, but it is Sid with a submission finish. Now, I'm almost going to guarantee you Hogan's going to use his creative. Nope. And about how long did you want this to be?
Well, there's going to be a huge, huge brawl at the end of the match because basically, Hogan was double crossed. So between the match and the fallout and the entrances, I'd say 14 minutes.
All right, so we can do. We'll do it that way. And Hogan has used his creative control to block this. So one thing we can do is we can keep Hulk Hogan strong throughout the match in order just kind of keep him happy.
Right.
Otherwise, his creative control is basically going to nix this in the bud, and
Yeah,
he
no,
allows it to go through.
he's strong throughout the entire match because we told him he's going over.
All right, and then you wanted that strong ending here, where they're brawling.
Yep.
Now, who is in this brawl? Is it just Hogan and Sid, or
I'd say the locker rooms start to clear out to separate them.
all right? So what I'm going to do, because that does sound like extras, like they wouldn't be rated in it. So Sid and Hulk are the big players in that, and they big ending brawl. All right, so match is booked, or show is booked. I'm sorry, but we do have two things that are currently showing as issues. One, according to the way things are set up in TEW, you are showing as having too many matches in comparison to your angles. They're expecting more story, less match. I can do a workaround to sort of do that. The other thing is we've gone 15 minutes over.
Yeah, well, we can cut. That's not an issue.
Yes. So we can go back and cut. One thing that I can do is I can make the brawl longer and the match shorter, which
Yeah.
I'm going to do right now.
Yep.
And one of the easiest ways to cut, in my opinion, would be to start cutting match times a little bit.
Well, also go back up to the top.
Okay.
Let's add a little bit more on that in ring as well. Let's add more on the Sting Russo, the Flair gimmick. So Russo salary calls out Flair and make that 12.
Okay. So that's now 12.
Then with the Sting Russo one, I would make that a little longer too.
All right, that can be 10. So allow me to. I'm going to have to quickly redo this. So let me just. I'm going to have to clone an angle here, so I do apologize. Let me check one thing here, because this should be able to go the 15 minutes, but it's only allowing it to be 10. Oh, I see why. Okay.
Well, that's too long though. We don't want 15.
All right. So I will fix that real quick. And you said which other one did you want to change?
I got another idea too. Let's
Go for it.
the one with Sting and Russo. Let's add a couple of minutes to that.
Okay. So you wanted to. This was later in the show where we have Sting calling out Russo,
Yep.
which is right. Oh, here. I actually did the wrong person. And I have it at 3 minutes right now. How long did you want to make it?
5.
Okay.
And then we're going to do something else as well. Go back to the Booker thing with Go back to the Booker thing in the back. Harlem Heat.
Yep. All right. I have that at 2 minutes.
What we're going to do is we're going to actually make that an in-ring. Harlem Heat is being interviewed in the ring by Mean Gene.
Ah, okay. So I'm going to delete this now and add a new one.
They're going to be in the ring being interviewed by Mean Gene.
Okay.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come on the screen and I'm going to bust them.
All right.
I'm going to force Stevie Ray to go to the back or else he'll be suspended.
All right.
And then we're going to have a chronic, a Bryan Adams chronic music and entrance. So
All right.
that 2 minute piece of business now becomes, let's see, Mean Gene, the promo, 2, Russo on the screen, 3. That now becomes 5 minutes.
And just remember, we are currently over on time. So while we do want to add the angle time, we are going to have to either cut
We,
down on time or something.
we will.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
We will.
All right. So.
So make that, let's see, 1, 2, make it 4 minutes.
All right. So we have the Harlem Heat with Mean Gene here. Booker and Stevie. We have our Gene Okerlund. And they're doing a promo. And then here comes Vince Russo.
On the screen, though, not in person.
All right. So I have you as appearing on screen. So you're there. But yes. Okay.
4 minutes. Okay, so now how over are we?
I will check that in 1 second. Harlem Heat promo and interruption. We are currently. We need to cut about 19 minutes.
Okay, let's go to the top and let's see what we got.
Just moving the.
Yeah, but it went too fast. Go back up again.
Okay.
Let's see. Daphne Medusa 1, 2, 4. Make Daphne and Medusa 6.
All right. Okay.
Let's see. Pages 8. Wait, what's Shane Douglas? 5.
I know this one is 10, and you had the.
Yeah, let's cut Benoit and thing. Let's cut that to 8.
All right. Just sort of jumping near.
Locker room police with the outsiders. Make that 2.
Yep. So we're down to 14 minutes needing to be cut.
Okay.
Booker and Adams is currently going 8. Is that okay?
No, let's cut that down to 7. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at. Yeah, cut that down to 7 and cut DDP and Canyon to 7.
All right, so we should be down to needing 12 minutes. And I know our main events, we had 12 minutes for Hall and Sting.
Okay, let's see. Hogan and Sid. Now let's make that 7.
All right.
And then let's see. What was 12? Hall and Sting. That's long. We can cut that down to let's say 9.
So we have 7 minutes left. We can do a few things we could push down. I think a couple angles we could push down.
Bret Hart update we could do in a minute.
Absolutely.
Hold on. Make the Conan and Ferrara turn into Conan and Nash. Make that. We might need that. Backstage segment with Vince Russo. What is that?
That is you with standards in practice.
Make that 2.
Oh, and I'm gonna label it a little better as well. With S&P. 2 minutes.
All right, what are we down to now?
We got 5 minutes left to cut.
Mysterio and Conan. Let's get that down to 8.
Okay. Do you want to move the video package down one? Because I think that was at
Let's cut that. Let's cut it. How long is it?
2 minutes.
Cut it.
All right. 2 more minutes left to cut.
2 more.
Things that I'm looking at. If we could pull maybe the ending brawl down to 3 minutes.
Yeah. That's fine.
And we have a show that we can run now. All right. So I know you've looked this over a few times, so let's see how this show does. I'm going to save it.
Are we going to do that now, or are we going to make them wait for that?
Let's do it next show. We'll see you guys next time.
I like to make them come back to see what the rating is.
All right. Well, we will see you next time. As always, thank you for watching Russo Plays 2. I am 2K Nick. I can be found at youtube.com/LETSPLAYTEW. And with me is the star of the show, Vince Russo, who can be found at Pyro and Ballyhoo. And we look forward to seeing you next time.